Anointed people get attacked differently. When you're anointed, when God has his hand on you, the attack that you face is just a different feeling. It's a different ball game. Let me explain to you what I mean. I'm gonna use myself as an example. I come on here, I make the videos and I'm saying positive words, affirmations, and this, that, and other. So imagine how my everyday life is. I'm trying to do the same thing. And let me explain to you when I say that anointed people are attacked differently. Going through some things that I have went through in my life, I found myself in situations to where I was appeasing other people. I was praying for peace for a long, extended period of time. I was like, God, I just want some peace. I just want some peace. I need some peace. And what started happening to me was the peace that I was asking for, I thought that I was obtaining by refraining from saying certain things. So let's just say you're having a conversation and God has put something in you. God has put a great word in you and you're talking to someone. And I had been praying for peace. So I thought that in order to obtain that peace, I just shut up. So I'm having a conversation and I thought in order to obtain peace, I needed to just shut up. But let me tell you what started to happen. Me shutting up, not saying what God has put on my heart to say in that moment, started making me develop anxiety because I wanted to say something so bad, but I was so worried about how the other person was going to feel that internally, I started having anxiety, but on the outside, I start feeling like, hey, I had peace. I just walked away. I didn't say nothing. And other people, it might look like this. You come on social media and you say that you're doing stuff for your haters. This for all my haters out there. This is all my haters out there. You know, y'all gonna be sick of me, this, that, and other. Let me tell you what, and I'm not a doctor, but let me tell you what I think where that comes from. You have went through a stretch of life when you felt less than. You have went through a stretch of life when you felt like no one saw you. So to combat that, you develop this, I'm doing it for my haters. No, you just have unhealed trauma. And when you have unhealed trauma, it manifests in so many different ways. So now the byproduct of that is, oh man, I'm doing it for my haters. And one of the things that we always say, I thank God that I don't look like what I went through. Let me tell you, sometimes that is the worst feeling to be in because where I'm at now in life and people that are just now coming across my channel, my page, whatever the case may be, you're seeing a product and you didn't get to see what happened to make me get here. So I don't look like what I've been through. And sometimes you not looking like what you've been through have people, diluting everything that you have been through. So they see you now and they're hating on the you now because they don't know what you've been through because you don't look like it. You can mask it. You can, dress it up. But for me, I like to tell people what I've been through because knowing what I've been through and being able to articulate what I've been through helps the next person. Nobody wants to see someone constantly saying certain things like, hey, you should do this, or I would do this and this, that, and other, if they don't know the backstory of you. Because if you're dealing with an emotionally immature person, correction sounds like demeaning. An immature emotional person, you can tell them the best advice, but it sounds demeaning to them because they're looking at the finished version of you. They don't like you because you look like a finished product. And you don't want people to see what you look like as far as what you have been through. You want them to see this as you. That's why you have so many people who present themselves. They're presenting strong. You're not really strong. Because if you're strong, you understand that yes, God can show up and remove the problem. But in removing the problem, he's going to delay your growth. Sometimes what you're going through is developing you so he can take you to where you need to be. And so many people want to skip the development stage. They mess up where God is trying to take. So here you are showing up as this almost finished product of yourself, and you talking to an emotionally deficient, immature person, they're not going to hear you the same. Sometimes you need to show people your scars. I have went through phases where I felt like I wasn't good enough. And sometimes the devil will still try to attack me in those moments. So I could be having a conversation with someone. And for me, I would be talking to someone and I'm really telling them like, hey, listen, this is how this, that, and other. And when that person shows me that they not listening, they have cut off and this, that, and other, they used to harm me emotionally. And guess what? I'll go the whole day not talking no more because it affected me in that type of way. And then the next time something happens, I'm like, I ain't gonna say nothing because the last time this, that, and other. But let me tell you what happens in my life. This is for me. If I want my kids to be better, if I want my kids to be the best version of themselves, I can't teach them something that I don't have the ability to process and learn myself. A lot of people avoid difficult conversations. They avoid the difficult conversations because they have avoided hearing the conversations from other people. And All of us are going to go through some pain. It's your perception about the pain. When I go through things in my life, I try to find what role do I play in what I'm going through? What is it that I'm not seeing in what I'm going through that's making it magnified? What is it about me? And once I hone in on what is it about me, then I start working on solutions. But there are certain people out there that can never see the you or the them in a problem. It's always they. They can never see the them. So you repeat the process over and over and over. What you are seeing now is 14, 15, 16 years in the making. And I'm still not a finished product. But what you're seeing right now is it's that many years in the making. But I'm so conscientious of showing people and telling people what I've been through. Because I can come on here and I can lie and say I ain't never been through nothing. I've always showed up, this, that, and other. No, a lot of these videos come from personal pain. And when you're dealing with people that don't know how to address pain, they look at what you're saying and they shut it off. They shut it off immediately. They don't want to hear nothing. And for me, what I used to start doing is, like I said, I would just stop talking because I'm thinking I'm protecting my peace. But sometimes you stop talking, somebody's missing the lesson. The change that we want to see in this world might not come in our lifetime, but it's your kids' lifetime that the change will happen. So what are you doing for that change? See, a lot of us sit back and we Monday morning quarterback. We sit back and we can say everything that's happening in the world, what's wrong, and we give our opinions on what you would do and how we can this, that, and other, and you can't even get your home life. You can't even stop the war at your home because you are leaning on your own understanding. And when you lean on your own understanding, there's no power there. See, I have always been able to articulate. And when I was leaning on my own understanding, I didn't understand how I was able to produce a good word and still live in turmoil. I had to give it all up to God. And sometimes that's a lonely journey. Because like I said, I had been praying for peace and I thought peace was not confronting certain things. But in not confronting certain things, you got to deal with it on the back end. You feel what I'm saying? You got to deal with it later. And a lot of times we talk about this thing called karma and we like, oh man, it's going to come back on them. But what about if it skips you and comes on your kids? What about if it skips you, skips your kids, and comes on your grandkids? That's how I live my life. So my scars are visible. The confidence that you see in me now, understand that I had to go through some times where I felt like this ain't it. How many posts that I posted and I was speaking a good word and nobody paid attention? That messes with your confidence. And the problem is when you don't address that, it becomes arrogant. Because I don't believe in me because you are not believing in me. Now I developed this ultra ego that I don't need nobody. And when you get out there, you lose yourself because then you start thinking it is all about you. I hope this blessed somebody on this Monday morning because listen to really what I'm saying. What is the you in the problem? Your inability to hear correction has nothing to do with the other person. It has everything to do with you. If every time someone says something that hits you in a certain way, this, that, and the other, if your defense mechanism is, I ain't talking to you now. Now I got an attitude, this, that, and the other. You can't turn around and say, every time I say something to my kids, then they got an attitude. You can't do that. If you run in social media and you talk about this is for my haters and this, that, and the other, you are dealing with emotional scarring. Because a hater's still gonna hate you. You need to get down and understand why are you doing it for your haters. It's because someone told you a long time ago that you wasn't gonna be nothing and you allowed that to go in your ear and that's what you believe. So now you gotta act out. Y'all have a blessed day.